what is up, Chloe here. Welcome to my channel. I really hope you're excited for today's video. It has been such a long time since I last did a face-to-face video like this, so I'm super hyped. If you're a returning subscriber, hey. If you're new, hey to you too. Let us all hang. And yeah, let me just get right into the video. I've got a cup of green tea here with me, so I'll be taking a sip of it because it is nighttime. It is almost bedtime, so you know, two and two together makes sense. Today the topic we're discussing is a bit different from me because it's very rare for me to do a focus on just one K-pop idol. But today I felt like really talking about this because I've noticed that no matter what this man does, someone will always just be so unhappy and so vexed by anything he says, and it's getting really concerning because it's like, so now obviously I'm familiar with K-pop stan social media, and I know that there's a bunch of people who like to victimize their K-pop idol and make them the victim in every single situation. But trust me when I say that that is not my intention today. I genuinely think that no matter what Bangchan seems to do, he just never catches a break. And I'm not saying that he's the first K-pop idol to ever receive hate, because this is just a natural product of being a celebrity. You are bound to get hate if you're in the public eye. No matter what, there's always going to be someone who's unhappy with what you do. But with Bangchan, it seems to be a bit heightened, and it really reminds me of all the hate that Jennie went through in 2018. The reasonable point to remember is that I am a Stray Kids fan, so it is very much in my face that I see the interactions that Bangchan gets on social media and the type of backlash. This is why I wanted to make the video anyways. But yeah, a lot of it is really objective, and I'm trying to be very multitudinal with my perspective, so just keep that in mind. So if you're someone who's not familiar with who Bangchan is, he is the leader of the 8-member boy group Stray Kids. Now, just like many K-pop idols in the industry, Bangchan has his fair share of controversies, which is what I want to discuss today. One of the very first controversies that really created a big social media uproar that Bangchan faced was when he was styled in cornrows for a performance. Now, what made this even worse is that not only was he styled in cornrows, which is cultural appropriation, he allegedly claimed that he chose to be styled like this because he wanted to actually appreciate the culture. He has not actually issued an official apology, just like many other members of Stray Kids would have if they're in a scandal, on the official Stray Kids page. Another controversy that he faced is when, in a pre-debut song, allegedly, he replaced the N-word with the word ninjas instead of just blurring out the word or skipping over it. Now, of course, people got mad about this because why did he feel the need to say something that was similar to it? One of the most recent controversies that he faced was when he did the Jim Crow pose, which he did issue an apology for. But I mean, there has been criticisms because of this, and it's understandably so. If you want to know more about the story, again, I will link some sources in the description. So now, naturally, of course, when a K-pop idol does something wrong or offensive, there will be an uproar of response, which I always think is appropriate because of the fact that if a K-pop idol does something wrong, whether it was the company or the K-pop idol themselves, the fact is something wrong was done, and the K-pop idol needs to take accountability and most probably needs to issue an apology so that peace in the fandom can be maintained. However, when a K-pop idol is in a controversy, especially someone such as Bangchan, who seems to be brought up in every single situation where somebody does something racially or culturally insensitive, aunties will make sure that you never ever forget. Now, the issue with Bangchan is that the issue with the cornrows really stuck in many people's minds, and it's understandably so. If you're someone who is black and you are in the culture, you felt really offended by the fact that you used cornrows and that an official apology wasn't made, it's understandable that you may hold a certain grudge, and no one is expecting you to forgive him or to move on from it very easily. What is wrong though is that there's many people who are weaponizing this, the fact that he did this, and many people are using it in the same context as Bad Namjoon. I've seen issues where a K-pop idol will do something culturally insensitive or some cultural appropriation, and someone will bring up that Bangchan did it, then bringing in a hate train of people who didn't know Bangchan did it, and you get the antis trying to magnify the whole situation, trying to weaponize the fact that they did cultural appropriation and spreading hate to this. Now, am I downplaying that cultural appropriation is a bad thing? No, of course not. I myself wanted to hold Bangchan accountable, and I feel like he should be held accountable, and it would have been much more appropriate if an official apology had been issued. I 100% believe that. What I do not understand is that there's so many aunties who want to weaponize the fact that Bangchan did cultural appropriation. They use it to actually hate on Stray Kids and hate on Bangchan rather than bringing awareness as to why the cultural appropriation was wrong. And that's where the distinction needs to be drawn. Another thing that I think needs to be discussed is that not only do aunties obviously spread hate, because what else does an auntie do? There has been a considerable amount of within the fandom hate. Now, the very first example I can really think of within the fandom hate would have to be when Kim Woojin, an ex-member of Stray Kids, was announced to be leaving the group. Now, of course, we didn't get any answers. We don't actually know the details as to why he left the group, and until now, we still don't know. But I remember that when Woojin left the group, Bangchan did face a lot of backlash and a lot of response from many fans saying that he failed to keep the group together. Now, do you understand the magnitude of that statement? If somebody is telling you that you failed in keeping a group together, placing all that responsibility on him, and I understand it, he is the leader, but it's like he was not the manager, he was not JYP in that moment. He was not the person who made the contract. And another multitude of responses he got is that, quote unquote, he was the reason why Woojin left. Now, this is really problematic considering the fact that nobody knows why Kim Woojin really left, and you cannot place that type of blame on someone else, because if you don't know the context of the situation, what makes you think that you can just say someone was the reason that they left? That's tea. Other types of within the fandom hate would just be people who are not Bangchan stans at all. And you know what? It's understandable. I do not expect y'all to like everyone. I know that there's some people who may like a group but they don't like certain members, and that is okay. But I just think that if you don't like certain members, there's no need for everyone to know that you don't like that member. There's no need for you to bring them down. There's no need for you to pull them down at any moment you get. There's no need for you to point out why you don't like them. But it's something about the people who hate Bangchan that they are so loud about it. Like, they are so insanely loud about it, and it's like, what do you gain? Like, where does this all stem from? Because I know it's not just the controversies that he has been involved in. I know that this is something that stems so much deeper, and I've got to understand why. Like, why? This is not a problem that is exclusive to Bangchan. There are many K-pop idols who face this type of hate, who face this type of backlash. I'm just mentioning again that with Bangchan, it does seem to be a bit more heightened. Again, I'm mentioning that I am a Stray Kids fan, so maybe because it's so in my face that I think it's heightened. But if you do even a quick Reddit search, you'll notice that a lot of people have noticed that Bangchan seems to get a lot of unnecessary backlash sometimes, and he gets roped into a lot of things that he didn't need to, and it's also concerning. Like, where did all of this stem from? And you know, a lot of the time it's like the hate is not even justified. He gets hate for like most trivial things. I remember one time people got really angry because he was speaking about periods and how to take care of yourself and how to feel better if you're someone who experiences periods. And here people go on a tangent about, oh, how dare he speak about periods, he's a man. And I was like, you know, if you were joking, I'd probably laugh because how dare he's a man. But like, people were serious. Like, people were serious. And I was like,
how dare you?
Okay. Getting weird. You know, some other very trivial reasons why he gets hate is for like on his vlives when he reacts to an artist's music or something, and then here comes that artist stands talking about, oh, he blinked at the wrong moment. I hate him. He blinked when the high note happened. What is wrong with him? He should just not react. Or why did he breathe like that when they were singing? He was breathing too loud. Do you understand? Do y'all see how crazy it sounds? I'm not out here trying to be a Bangchan advocate or a Bangchan stan, but like, do y'all see how crazy this sounds? When you truly sit down and think about it and you try to understand why Bangchan seems to get so much hate following his controversies specifically, I think it's because that he's been placed on such a high pedestal. So a lot of people have dubbed him as this woke king because he used to speak about loving yourself and about mental health. But it's like, speaking about loving yourself and speaking about mental health, speaking about experiences that teenagers and young adults go through doesn't make you a woke king, it just makes him a human being. Do you understand? And I think that people got confused between the fact that he was being a relatable human being with the fact that they thought he was woke and he was an activist. Like, y'all, Bangchan is not a UN representative. No, he's not that guy. I know that when you have a K-pop idol who speaks English and is very familiar with English, you often expect them to know these type of things, and I understand that in the age of 2021, where internet is available, where Bangchan is an active Twitter user, where all these factors contribute as to why you'd expect him to know this stuff, but we can't always expect it. And that is the unfortunate truth that I even had to come to acknowledge myself, that we cannot always expect an English-speaking K-pop idol to be aware of these things. And it's crazy to wrap my head around, but it's something that I've come to understand the more I interact with K-pop. Of course, one thing that is very commendable about Bangchan is that he responds to these haters. I feel like he just got to a point where he was so tired of it, so tired of being the nice guy, so tired of just accepting this stuff, and he does respond to it. Of course, he has to respond as respectfully as possible, because again, he is a public figure. Personally, if it were me, it would be on sight. Y'all would catch me outside, because really, who do you think you are?
Ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
I'm lying, because when people comment rude stuff on my channel, I just read and move on. So I don't know how he does that. What worries me about the amount of hate that he gets, that I cannot even imagine the magnitude of damage that it could have done to his mental health. Like, he is an advocate for mental health. He's always spoken about mental health and taking care of your mental health, and he's even shared some very touching lyrics on a song. I will show you the lyrics, of course, where he talks about some choices that he could have made because of his mental health, and choices that he could have made because of how life was for him at that point. And it's like, many people are not making it better by just trying to constantly bring him down and just trying to dehumanize him and degrade him. Like, y'all are not, it's not giving what y'all think it's giving. I'm uncomfortable. So, and it just shows that people only care about mental health when it suits them, because the people who work to bring down Bangchan, like really genuinely want Bangchan to just be degraded, are the same people who will be advocating for mental health for their faves. But because Bangchan is not their fave, they don't care how his mental health is doing, so they're going to say the most vile things. I'm not saying that Bangchan should be exempt from criticism. I don't think Bangchan should be exempt from being held accountable. I think he should get criticism, constructive criticism. I think he should be held accountable if he does something wrong, so that he can seek education for what he did wrong, and he can learn and grow from that. Just like any other K-pop idol, I feel like no K-pop idol is exempt from constructive criticism. No K-pop idol is exempt from being held accountable. But I think there really has to be a line drawn, because you need to consider people's mental health. You need to consider that people work so hard, and that he is not asking for you to like him. You know, he's not begging for your approval. So you mustn't act like he's begging for your approval if you're someone who hates him. Just live your life, move on, you know, go eat some ice cream. If you're lactose intolerant, go eat pineapple. Pineapple is also really good. This is the end of why I think Bangchan is K-pop's human punching bag, amongst many other K-pop idols, which I could also start a whole series on trying to understand why these idols get so much hate. I don't get it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like or comment down below any of your thoughts, anything that I may have said that was maybe inaccurate, or anything that you want to contribute. If you like this video, if you like me enough, don't forget to subscribe, and look forward to my future uploads. Until next time, bye.